Hello there, and welcome to, well, this is kind of another sitting video that I haven't done in a while, but this is kind of going to be the last video. Well, I mean, this comes out on the 31st, is the last video of the year, and I decided that I was going to do something that's a little bit more laid back, not really a review or anything. So, uh, stick around. We're going to be taking a look at something that I know I've gotten quite a few questions on. So, before we go ahead and before I go and reveal what that something is, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the merchandise. That's what we're plugging today, like always. If you go down to the Teespring store, you can go and pick up something, t-shirts, hoodies, what have you. There's a lot of things on there. We got mugs, we got all sorts of different things that you'll probably like. I don't know. I know that some people bought stuff, and that's awesome. Thank you for the support. And yeah, if you go down to the Teespring/store/electric-apparel, I believe that is the link. It'll be on the screen as well as down in the description. You can pick yourself up some that'll help support the channel. So much appreciated if you do. Okay, so now with that out of the way, you might be wondering what this video is about and why the Victrix is here. Well, the question that I got asked quite a bit over this year was to show off the collection of sticks that I have. I know that the bag seems rather empty, and that's why everything is back here on the floor right now, because I have something like 30 sticks, I think. Yeah, I have a lot. And it's reasonable that people would ask what kind of arcade sticks that I own, and the sort of individual things about them. So I thought I'd start with the most common stick, the most featured stick, I believe, on this channel, and that is the Victrix Pro FS. Everybody knows by now that this is my daily driver. It has the golden lever in it that I modded a while back. I used a crown crown plate to mount it in here, and then it has Sanwa, or the Paradise Arcade Shop's OBS MX, or whatever it is, their mechanical push buttons. And then it has a Kaimana, or no, not the Kaimana, the LVT3 board, which is a LED board that was sold by Paradise Arcade Shop at Evo this year in 2019. And I got a hold of that. I've modified this thing to holy hell. You can check whatever I might put up here that shows this thing, but it's been through a lot, and it's cool because I can change the buttons, I can do whatever I want. It got etched over at the Victrix booth when I was at Evo, so it's a very cool stick. It's one that I've played quite a lot since June-ish, July, right around the time when I got it. And yeah, this thing has been the stick that I play on pretty much daily. And that's pretty much the story about it. It's a great stick. I like it. It hasn't broke on me. I haven't abused it. Well, I mean, I've abused it, but this one will probably be in future videos. I'm going to try and do some other things to it. This is the thing that I am pretty much known for at this point. Modding this thing and doing whatever the hell I want with it. So, and here's the second stick. This is a Hori Rap 4. I believe it's a Rap 4, not a Rap 4 Kai. Yeah, this one I got back in 2016. This was the first year that I attended Evo, and I didn't have a PS4 stick or a PS3 PS4 or a PS3 PS4 stick that worked on the Tekken machines back then. This was when they were using the demo arcade units, not the actual PS4 builds, I believe. And I didn't have a arcade stick to really play on, and I had brought one of my other sticks, my main stick at the time, and it didn't work. So on day 0 of Evo 2016, again, this was my first Evo, I went and I helped the guys over at the Arcade Shock booth. Well, not so much help, but on day 0, I was there talking with them. And I asked them, is there any way that I could buy one of these? Because they had a Vuelix out, and at the time, I didn't have the money to afford a Vuelix. Those things are expensive. I still don't own one. I wish I could, but I didn't have the money to afford it. But these sticks originally came with the Hayabusa buttons, and I really, really liked the Hayabusa buttons at the time. They had the Vuelix out for display, and I hit the buttons a few times, and I was in love with how the Vuelix buttons, the buttons felt, the Hayabusas. Wasn't too much a fan of the lever, but I thought, hey, maybe I could throw a Korean a bat top on it and it'd be fine. And I threw a bat top on there because at the time I had just converted to bat tops. I'd been playing bat top for about a year. I've been playing crowns, and I'll talk about that when I get to it. But yeah, that one, that didn't work out too well. There's some videos of me playing Tomahawk, and I got all sorts of missed inputs, and it really sucked. But this was the very first PS4 arcade stick that I ever owned. This thing's been modded actually that same day, not day 0, but day 1. Maximilian had a panel, and that was the first time I wanted to attend the panel. You know, I know the guy, I know all the dudes in Yo Video Games, and I've been a mod on his Twitch channel since month 1. I was mod on his channel within like a couple of weeks, so I've been there for a very long time. So they all signed it. So Max, Steve, Kenny, and Simmons, they all signed it, and it's right up here from 2016. The things I've done to it, I've put a new lever in here. I believe it's a Sanwa, and then I've put these Crown SPB 202 buttons in it. And yeah, this thing I used for a while when I got to mod it, and it's been a great stick. You know, I don't use it very much just because it's signed, and I don't really want to end up rubbing that stuff off. But yeah, this one was the very first arcade stick that I ever got, and that's all I have to say about that. I put the coolest sticker on there back when Arcade Shock had those stickers. I wish they would bring those back. I really liked those. And we go from that Hori right to probably my all-time favorite Hori arcade stick out of the the 3 or 4 that I own. And this is the Hori Fighting Edge. This is the PS4 revised edition, and this is a fantastic stick. It was something that I had bought at Evo, actually. I believe it was Evo 2017, the next year. I had gotten to test these things out at Evo that year. I actually got to test out... When did I get to test? No, the Evo 2017, I believe, was when they showed the prototype off. I can't remember exactly, but one Evo, I believe it was the 2017 one. They showed off this prototype, and at the time, the Hayabusas had brushed aluminum plungers instead of these, mirror silver ones that you see here. And it was, I jokingly asked them, I was like, can I buy the prototype? And they said no. But it was fantastic to play on. I really liked the original Fighting Edge. I never got to play it, but I did get to see it at some of the events that I went to. And I always thought it was really cool, but I really like this whole minimalist thing where they got rid of this touchpad that was on the side, and they went with this brushed aluminum top. And yeah, it had everything that I really liked about the Fighting Edge. It was better in my opinion. This is just a better stick than the 360 one. So I picked this up, I believe, 2018. So I picked this up at 2018 Evo, and from Arcade Shock's booth, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing on this thing. I played this thing a lot at that Evo, I believe. It was between that and the Obsidian that I have. So I played these two sticks quite often at that Evo, and I've actually modded this stick now to have white buttons. I switched out the black in here for the white, so it's white and silver. It's still the same lever, but this has been in several videos. I put the gold lever in here when I originally did the review of it, and I did another review of this separately from it, where I just put this back in. I left the buttons the same. But yeah, these white buttons came off of another Hori stick, which I guess I should get to right now. And we're on to my least liked Hori product of all the ones that I have, and that's the Tekken 7 Rap N, the Xbox 360 edition, or the Xbox One edition, the Tekken Girls one. And the reason I have the review of it, I'll be putting, if I have reviews for them, I'll be putting them up here. But the reason is I had many issues with it. It has no non-slip padding on the bottom, which means it's going to slide around unless you're on a desk. I hate that this version was only for the Xbox One, because I don't play fighting games on the Xbox One. I mean, I play on the PC mostly now, so it's, beneficial. It's okay because I just plug it into the PC and it works fine, but I don't really play this one very often. It just kind of sits there and collects dust, like a lot of these sticks I don't play, mainly because it's just not my thing. I have the Victrix now, and this thing used to get some play, but not too much. The things I've done to this stick, I've actually put in, this originally had Sanwa metallic gold buttons in it, but those things are garbage and they break all the time unless you do, I've tried doing the one tab method. All those metallic and clear buttons from Sanwa, the tabs break really fucking easy and it pisses me off. So I switched these over to the crown buttons, the metallic gold ones, when they came out with their SBB 202s, the mechanical push button ones. When they came out with the metallic series for that, I went and I jumped on and got a set of 8 and I put these on here. The lever itself is actually an LS32, Seimitsu LS32, and it's got the Freak Mods link quick disconnect, because I don't know what it is, but a little history lesson is that the Seimitsu LS32 was the very first lever I ever played on, and it's one of my favorite. I like it more than the Sanwa if I have to play Japanese style lever, and so I kind of have just a few LS32s rolling around because, well, it was the first lever I learned on, and it's, you know, one of my favorites. So that's really it for this one. It's a cool stick. If you can get your hands on the Rap N, the actual black one that has the noir layout, that's one of the other saving features. It has the noir layout, so it has the really good layout that I like, but it has some things that would need to be changed. If you can get your yourself a Rap N, that one I believe does have non-slip padding on the bottom, and it actually is a very much upgraded version from this and the PS4 version of this stick. So get that one instead. And we're just going through a lot of the newer ones that I did. This is the Nacon Daija, and this one is the Kayane lever. Like, this is the Kayane's signature arcade stick, or at least I believe it is. I know that she helped design it. But this one was actually one of my more favorite picks from this year. Out of the couple of arcade sticks that came out this year, this one was actually one of my favorites besides the Victrix, until I got the Victrix, which is like a month difference. But the one setback is a lot of people complain about there's input lag with this thing, and while I didn't really feel it, I'm pretty sure there's enough evidence out there that proves that it has insane input lag. So that's one of the things that kind of deters people from buying it. Even though it is a fantastic arcade stick, it still smells like the inside of a new car when you buy it. So it's funny how it retains that new car smell. But it had a lot of good features. The whole bottom is filled, it has that non-slip padding that I like. The cable door is like this click open, click close thing, which I really like. The way to open it is like a TE2, which is really cool. You press these two buttons on the sides and it opens up. And the things I've done to this really isn't much. The golden lever from when I reviewed the new revision of the golden lever that fits in these sticks, this one, the Victrix, and the Panthera Evo, I just decided to leave it in here because I already have the golden lever in my Victrix. So this one, it'll be repurposed for something else and the old lever will go back in. But other than that, I need to shoot another video for this thing because I put the Sanwa 2nd Gen silent buttons in there, and I haven't gotten to review that yet because it's in my backlog. But this was a cool stick. I really liked it. For the price, I hear people say it's like $150. I paid like $250 for this thing, or at least when I got it, it was like $250 or some crazy bull crap. Like, that's insane that it was so expensive, and now it's relatively cheap. So I feel kind of cheated. At $150, if they ever do make an easy mod for this thing, this will be well worth the price. So that's it for this. If you want to check out my thoughts on it, again, I'll be putting the reviews in cards if I remember it. They'll all be cards there. Or you can just check out the playlist, which is Hurtbox Arcade Corner, and I have dozens of videos on this stuff here. So these things are in no real order. I'm just grabbing them how they are back here on the floor. That's right there, like 2 feet away from me. This one was a cool purchase. It was like last year, I was really in the mood to buying Qanba Fusions and the 8-arc Fusions, and there's a reason why, and I'll show that at the end of the video. But I really wanted to own all the variations of the Fusion, which include the Sapphire, the Onyx, the Ivory, the Synthesis, I believe that's all of them. They just had those 4. And I got this one for a good deal. I didn't do this mod. This was already done. And okay, yeah, originally this one had an octo gate in it, and I took the octo gate out. It's somewhere over there. And I put in a square gate because I'm not used to octo gates. I don't really like them. But the original owner of this put a green bat top, or ball top, as well as he switched out the first 6 buttons for green and black Sanwas. And I just kept it like that. I didn't decide to put it back to stock because I thought that looked pretty cool. I like the green and black. So that's really it for this one. I got it for a really good deal. He sold it to me for like 70 bucks or something like that, and I couldn't pass that deal up just because these are quite easily one of the best arcade sticks from the previous generation, from the PS4 or PS3 and Xbox 360 era. The Qanba Fusions are without a doubt probably the best arcade sticks of that generation, and that's why I own all 4 of them. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. It has this felt bottom that is why I really like that feature so much, is that it sits on your lap, doesn't move. And the fact that I could play it on PS3 and Xbox 360 and I didn't have to have multiple sticks at the time was, that was incredible. That's one of the things I really liked was, and I kind of miss, is the fact that you have to get third-party boards now. You have to get Brook boards in order to get that cross platform support. And it sucks that you can't get a stick that's retail like this anymore that is just compatible with everything without having to go to some bigger boutique vendor or something like that. So, and while we're at it, I think I'm just going to talk about the other 2 fusions. And this one is the Synthesis. This one is like the all crystal, cool looking one. I remember when this came out, it came out after the Sapphire, and I really wanted to get this one at the time, but I couldn't afford another arcade stick at the time. 200 bucks was a lot back then for me. And I found this one also at a good deal. I probably paid maybe a little bit more than I should have, realistically, but I wanted to own all of them, and it's very hard to come by like fusions, especially ones that are in as good of condition as this. The Onyx that I have, as well as the white one that I have, both of those are in okay condition, but they've obviously seen a lot of use. This one was in like pristine condition. It just has dust on it, but this guy kept it in the box most of the time, and like even the bottom, which isn't really that worn, which is surprising. If you look at the bottoms, that's not very worn. Usually these things are worn to hell. Like if I showed you one of the other ones, let me go grab that, you'll see that these things, that's not the right one. Let me grab the white one. You'll see that some of these can get very worn. Like mine's even worse. The my original stick, it's even worse. So, you know what? Let me just sit here with this one. This one, I'll sit right here. But yeah, that one is the Synthesis. It's in really good condition. It's a great arcade stick. I'm just gonna say that about all the fusions I have because they're fantastic arcade sticks. If you can find one and get it upgraded with a Brook, do it. That's all I have to say about this. I believe this one has Sanwas. Yeah, they don't feel like Seimitsu. So yeah, this one has all Sanwa parts. It's great. It's a great stick. I'm gonna move this one on here. This one is the white one, and this one has is probably the most modified one out of all the fusions that I have. And yeah, this one's actually really cool. This one I bought for really cheap. As you can see, it's kind of dirty. It's been played a lot. It's got some scratches and battle wear from probably being taken to locals and whatnot. But I did quite a few upgrades on this thing. I took out all the stock Sanwa parts. I believe it comes with like a white lever and white buttons. And I replaced it with all Seimitsu parts. And the reason why is because when I saw this thing, the first thing that I wanted to do was, because he included a clear plexi with it. This actually came with the plexi. It came with this plexi on it. I wanted to recreate the Astro City cabinets. I really like the way that Sega's cabinets look, and I wanted to recreate that. So I created this whole graphic design for the most part to make it look like it's a, like an Astro City cab. And I got these Seimitsu buttons. The top row is green, the bottom row is pink for player 1 and player 2. It's got a pink ball top. It's got an LS56. It's a smaller Seimitsu lever that has a bunch of different springs. I don't think I've ever done a video on it. This thing's coming loose. But yeah, I wanted to kind of reference all of the things that was in the Astro City cabs. And it even has the 100 yen coin, the power control system. Down there it says Dune Electric, HurtboxTV, and then like aerospace. What is it, aerodynamic shape? Yeah. It was a fun project. This was back before I was like doing videos consistently about modding and all that, so I didn't really show this off in a video, and I haven't shown it off. It's just been back there, probably not really seen just because it's in the corner. But yeah, this one's a cool stick. The unfortunate part about the Fusions is that these doors, the hinges usually break, and the doors will fall off, or they become too loose in the tab part and they don't open and close properly. So that's one of the only drawbacks to it, but for the most part, a lot of people, they tend to just leave it like that. They don't really care too much, they just leave it as that. So yeah, this is the other Qanba one that I have. Okay, let's talk about this one. This one's interesting. This is a Fightstick Pro from Mad Catz, and I own a couple of these. The interesting thing, both of them I bought from Markman when he was selling sticks last year. And this one is kind of an interesting little story, is that this is actually just a Street Fighter X Tekken Fightstick Pro, but it was a prototype. Markman tells me that this was a prototype for a P4A stick, and as you can see, this is the artwork that's on it. It has its little thin plexi with its screws, and if I took it off and showed you, this is just one of those black Street Fighter X Tekken PS4 or PlayStation Fightstick Pros. It's really cool. I like the way that these sticks are shaped. They feel really nice. They have all stock Sanwa parts. It's a quality Mad Catz stick, and you know, no complaints here. I really like it, and I don't think they ever really did a run of P4A with these things, but it's cool knowing that this was kind of like the prototype that was taken around, I believe, and demoed. At least that's what I remember him telling me. It's been a while, but yeah, that's pretty much it about this stick. I'm going to talk about the other one next, because I got two of them, and that one's more interesting than this one, I think. So this one is the one that's really interesting, because this is the red, I believe this is what, the limited edition one that this was the Comic-Con and Evo one, I believe, right? They showed them off at like Comic-Con and Evo. But yeah, this was a limited edition. This was one of the ones that Markman was selling, and this was the first one that I bought off him. The second one was that one, the P4 Arena one. And this one was actually really cool because not only is it a limited edition, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, not really, but this is number 1 of 400. This is the number 1 model for the Street Fighter X Tekken Fightstick Pro, and that's cool. Originally, I was hoping to buy a prototype of the Fightstick Pros that were unreleased that he had, but those ones got sold, so this was the next best one he offered, and I said, sure, I'll take it. It's the first one. I like owning limited edition stuff, especially one that's number 1 out of 400. So that's cool, and yeah. He gave me a fair deal on him, so Markman's cool. Markman's cool by my books. That's really all I have to say about it. It's a pretty good stick. All Sanwa parts. It's got these feet. It doesn't have the non-slip padding, but you know, oh well. You can't hope for everything, right? And speaking of limited edition, we have this one right here. For those of you who know the Sanwa Denshi Mono, this is the stick that came before it. This is the Sanwa Denshi Guilty Gear Exerd Custom Edition. It's a limited edition Guilty Gear stick that was made by Sanwa Denshi. This isn't the first time they've done something for Arc System Works, so, you know, it's actually really cool. It's actually a really cool stick. Like, it's got all these little switches on it and buttons and stuff that you can push. This turbo thing is a knob. It's kind of funny. It's a really cool stick. So I got to try this thing out. Somebody had bought it at SCR 2016. I went to SoCal Regionals and I got to try this thing out. Somebody, I think that was playing Tekken at the time, he had brought it over to the station. I was there on the B station where Level Up Your Game was recording all of the other matches on stream. And so I was there with Kane, just sitting there kind of half-ass commentating. But yeah, somebody brought this over, I got to try it, and then about a month or two later, I ended up buying this stick because they still had it at Arcade Shock. So this was back when they had this and the other Arc System Works stick that I'm going to show you. But yeah, this was a really cool stick. It's got a lot of good features. It's got, you know, multiple pieces of artwork that can fit into this thing. It's got all Sanwa parts. It's got all these crazy buttons and stuff for switching different modes and all that. And the one thing that I do like that it has is the non-slip backing. This stuff is the best. I played this thing for a while when I first got it. I haven't played it too much just because I don't want to really... It's limited edition. I want to keep it not super scratched up, so it sits back there in the closet on display. You might be able to see it in some videos. It's kind of more tucked away into this corner. But yeah, you can see it. And it's a great stick. I played on it. I think I still have the footage of when I unboxed this because this was a long time ago. If I do, I might turn this into a review? Question mark? I might do a review of this at some point because this is a cool stick. And it's a shame that it's very hard to find now. I haven't been able to find them ever since they were all sold out. So if you can find one, get your hands on one. This is actually a really nice stick. That or the mono. I know that's out of stock too. I think that was limited as well. But yeah, if you can, get your hands on one. It's a really cool stick. All right, and going from that, we're just going to talk about the next limited edition stick that I have, which is the other Sanwa stick. This is the Bururaji BlazBlue stick, the BlazBlue chibi radio thing that they did for a while. Did they still do that? I don't know if they still do that. I used to keep up with that a lot back in the day when they started doing that. When they started animating it and people were uploading it to YouTube with subs and everything. It was actually really fun. It's an entertaining little gag, like interview type thing with Tomokazu and all the Japanese voice actors. They bring on the other characters in this chibi form, and it was a fun show to watch at the time. But this was one of the other sticks that they had at Arcade Shock that was limited edition and is now sold out. This is a PS3, PS4 stick. It's very light. Like, where's my drone at? It's a little smaller. It's about the same size, maybe a tad smaller than the drone. That's insane. It's a very small stick, but it's a very cool stick. It's got all Sanwa parts. It's got a Sanwa stick. It's got these Sanwa buttons. They all have these they have all these little inserts for artwork. It's got share options. It's a PS4 stick, so yeah, it's got a PlayStation L2, L1. Yeah, it's a fun little stick. It's hard to play on. Again, this was something that I also have unboxing footage of that I have to go dig for. I might be able to find it, but if I do, this one might be a review in itself as well, just because this is it's actually a really interesting stick to play, to look into. And there was another version that Sanwa did using the same shell that is a BlazBlue stick. I'll try and put a picture up like right here or whatever. I'm looking for that stick as well. It's another BlazBlue stick that looks like this one. It doesn't have the exact same artwork. It's darker blue. And if anybody has one, or if anybody knows somebody that's selling one, I'd actually be interested in getting one of these because I really like these limited edition Sanwa arcade sticks. Sorry, I apologize, but yeah, this is a cool stick. Again, it hasn't been played it's had like less than an hour of playtime on it. It's just dirty and dusty from sitting in that shelf and being on display in a lot of videos. Next is yet another limited edition stick. So this one was, this was my second arcade stick that I ever bought. And this was about 2013, 2014. And at the time, this was a Black Friday. It was in November, it was on Black Friday. And Bandai Namco had this really, really bitchin' deal where, yeah, this was 2013, 2014. They had this really bitchin' deal where if you bought 2 of their games, you got this for $60. So you got 2 games and this arcade stick for $60. And this is the limited edition Namco stick. They had a whole bunch of these Tekken hybrid sticks. They had a whole bunch of these left over, I guess. And I got really lucky because I have number 28. I've got number 28 of 1,000. And while it's not number 1, it's pretty damn close. And as you can see, this thing has had some play on it. You can see the edges are kind of rusted a bit. The screws are rusted. This thing has been played a lot. Yeah, these screws have oxidized and they're all really dirty. It's all dusty because it sits in a shelf with a bunch of other arcade sticks collecting dust. But this one is the second arcade stick. Me and my friend got a really good deal on these because both me and him bought one. And yeah, this is it's really cool to have something like this. And yeah, it's cool to have one of these limited edition Namco sticks. It's a good stick. If you can find one for a decent price, get it. These are worth it. Okay, this one is the second to last limited edition stick that I have, I think. Yeah, pretty much. So this one is a limited edition as well. Yeah, it is. Of course it is. This is the Xbox 360 Mad Catz TE BlazBlue edition. This one I got. This one is actually a funny story. This one I got my first year at Evo. This was the I got 2 sticks at Evo, and 2016 Evo. So the story about this one was that a fellow moderator and a really cool guy over in Maximilian Stream, his name is Jetstream Dan, was at Evo this year. I don't know if he'd gone previous years, but this was my first year, was 2016. And I remember I was checking Twitter and he said he was getting rid of some things. He was moving or something. He was getting rid of stuff. And he listed that he had this, that he was giving away for free. So I messaged him and I said, hey, can you hold that for me? I'll go pick it up. I want this stick. I love BlazBlue and I love me some limited edition arcade sticks. So he got back to me and he said yes. And I met him at his hotel room. I picked this up and a monitor he was giving away. And yeah, that's basically how I got this stick for free. It was actually really cool. I still, just to let you know, it's in great condition. Hardly ever, it does get played, but it's kept in really nice condition if you ever see this video. And yeah, it's a great stick. I love BlazBlue. BlazBlue is one of the main games that I played for a very long time besides Tekken. And yeah, having a stick like this when I was looking at this back in the day, yeah, it's a great stick. I mean, it's really big. It's bigger than the TE because it's got these extra side panels. It's number 623 of 1500, so you know, it's about halfway there. Yeah, this is a Mad Catz stick. It's got everything that you love about a tournament edition stick. So if you can find these, especially the PS3 ones as well, I want to get a PS3 version of this just because I really like collecting sticks that are limited edition like this. But yeah, I'm looking for one of those as well. But get yourself one of these. These are actually really cool, especially if you're still playing on the 360 or if you want to. I believe they make easy mods for these things. Jason's Customs, I believe he does. But yeah, it's a great stick. A lot of weight to it too. That's why I have it displayed in the center up there, is that it's probably one of my favorite sticks. Okay, so many of you followers of my channel will probably remember the olden days of when I used to do scripted, monotone-ass sounding reviews. I still do monotone-ass sounding reviews, but they're not scripted anymore. I ramble on way too much, and some people like it, some people don't. The people who don't, fucking bite me. Anyway, this is the Qanba Crystal. This was one of the arcade sticks. This is the second stick that that Adark actually sent me. Andy and all the guys over at Adark, they're really awesome guys. I hit them up for the drone, and they were like, yeah, sure, we'll send you a drone to review. And then I asked for this because I wanted to review the Crystal, and they set one aside for me and they shipped it over. I did the video for it, and it got some pretty good reception. I mean, that was back when I used to do the really detailed, you know, informal or formal like reviews. And yeah, this thing I believe got some good viewership, and then I did another video right after it, which I believe was the first or second modding video I really ever did on the channel. And it was switching this out for the Sanwa micro switches, as well as switching out the Qanba buttons, the micro switches that were in here for Sanwas. So it was to keep the LED aspect of it while replacing it with better parts. And yeah, that got a lot of good viewership as well. People really like that video. The one upgrade that this has over the Fusions is that the door is actually magnetic. So it doesn't really break. It doesn't really like kind of fall apart or anything. But it's got LEDs. It's got this really cool design on it. It's a PS4 stick, so it's got the touchpad. It was one of the first arcade sticks for the PS4 that had one. Like, that had true support for a touchpad, which is great. It has this handle thing that, you know, not many people care about, but Eris dislikes heavily. And the other thing is that it also has the non-slip padding. Can't tell you how good that is. That is good shit. So yeah, this one is a great stick. It's a very big stick too. So yeah, if you can get one of these ones are also pretty good. If you don't mind having Qanba stock parts for $120 or something like that, 150, somewhere around there. If you don't mind doing that and then buying and following my mod video I did a long ass time ago, then you know, this might be the stick for you, especially if you like LEDs. This thing is a cool stick. I'm glad I still have it. And now we're getting to the cheating section of the arcade sticks that I own. So this is the original Hitbox. I did a video on it recently. This was the Hitbox that I originally reviewed back in 2016. I still don't remember when the video was, but this was the thing that the guys at Hitbox sent over to me when I reached out to them. This ended up in the possession of my friend who wanted to learn how to play a Hitbox. He's the one who kind of convinced me to email them and ask about trying it out. Then I tried it out and I liked it. And then I let him have it because it wasn't really my main thing at the time. So I let him have it and he played this thing for years. He gave this back to me last month because he was complaining about the original cable wasn't working or something like that, and I think it was loose, the soldering or whatever. But I decided to go onto Arcade Shock and I bought a whole bunch of parts, PS4 board, I still had these buttons left over from the Obsidian that I gave him that was made into a Hitbox. And then I drilled out a bunch of extra buttons and all this other crazy stuff. And I made the Hitbox that you see here with the red, the white. It's all Seimitsu parts instead of Sanwa. It's got a Brook PS4 board in it. And yeah, it plays great. It was a fun video to make. And if you want to see that, that'll be up here as well as the original review for the Hitbox. It's a good arcade stick. I guess peripheral, but you know, I'm just gonna lump it in with the arcade sticks. It's a good stick. Oh, and I should say, I did put some of that non-slip stuff that Etokki sells. So, you know, that ain't going nowhere. But yeah, it doesn't slip at all with the feet on it, as well as when it's on the lap. I tested it, but yeah, I told you guys that I would be putting that on there, and I did. All right, so this is one of the other Horis that I own. I probably misspoke when I said that the Hori Tekken 7 arcade stick is the worst one that I have. This thing is the piece of junk that everybody knows this as. This is the Tekken 7 wireless. Yeah, that's probably appropriate. This is the Tekken 7 wireless arcade stick, or Tekken 6 wireless arcade stick. And when these came out, they were hot garbage. I fortunately never bought this when it came out, but I did buy it because it was like 30 bucks or something. Somebody was selling it for like 30 bucks years ago. And I do plan on making some sort of video with this thing, probably review and then modding it to high hell. But yeah, this thing is a wireless stick. It's got Hori parts and they all feel awful. Again, its saving grace is that it has the noir layout. Not really much to say about this other than I own it, and I'm glad I didn't get the PS3 version, because the PS3 version apparently is even worse than this thing is. So yeah, the Tekken 6 wireless arcade stick. I don't know, I heard that it's hot ass. I haven't tested it to see how hot ass it is, but these buttons feel like hot ass, so it's probably pretty bad. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I do not care at all. This here isn't the original drone that I reviewed back in, I believe it was 2016, yeah. This isn't the original one that I reviewed back in the day, but this is one of the newer ones that they sent me, because I was doing that, it was a video that I did, oh man, when did I do that? Last year? It was one of these videos where I took B-roll of a bunch of stuff and I asked them for a drone that was brand new because the other one is being painted over. I have a project I'm trying to do with that thing and it's not working right now. It's been like a year. But this one is a great beginner stick. This was the first one that I reviewed from Qanba when they started sending me stuff, and 8-arc specifically. And it's a good entry-level stick for 70 bucks, for 60 bucks, most of the time it's 60. It's a fantastic stick. Like, it's got room for modability, it's compatible with most things. It's got the non-slip, even though they're not that big, it's non-slip. It's got this thing here, which is one of my favorite things, which is the easy access. So you just twist and pull this thing off and you can put a screwdriver in there and unscrew the ball top. And that's fantastic. That's a fantastic feature that I wish every other arcade stick manufacturer would steal. And so far, only Razer's done it. And yeah, only Razer's done it. And it's something that really should be done on more arcade sticks. It is so convenient for stuff like this that doesn't open normally from the top to be able to switch out ball tops and what have you, and to take it off a lot easier. No. Yeah, it's a great stick. If you're a beginner and you want to get into playing arcade sticks, this is one of the ones I would highly recommend besides the Mayflash stuff. This is a great stick. So yeah, I keep it around just because, you know, I used to take it to locals. I used to take the other one to locals and have that as like an arcade stick for like people to play on, or for like as a side station or whatever with like the smaller games and stuff. Yeah, so that, or if kids came over, they wanted to mess around on arcade sticks, because kids see this thing and they're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah. Great stick. Let's keep the Qanba train rolling, and this is the Qanba Obsidian. This one was, again, provided to me by 8-arc, and this thing was my daily driver for a long time. I played this stick a lot until I got the Victrix. This was my main stick for a long time, and you can see I've put a lot of work into modding this thing. So it's a great stick. It's got LEDs, it's got these aluminum sides, it's metal. The original had a metal ball top, which I didn't put back on. I don't know why I left it black, but I should put the metal ball top back on. It does come with one. It's actually metal. It's not just shiny. But the modifications I did to this used to have a 309 help me lever in it. I switched that out and I put that in a different stick, and then that got moved around and retired because the plate is bent, so my original is still around here somewhere. It went back to the original stock Sanwa that came on it, and then the buttons are different. These are the Hori Hayabusas. These are actually the ones that came off of the Fighting Edge, and then I got another set of silver ones. And yeah, so the first 6 actually, actually these are the ones that I bought that were separate. It was on Arcade Shock site. They sell these from time to time, but I did that, and then back when these Evo buttons came out, I believe it was 2017 Evo, or 2016, I bought a whole bunch of these, and I put these 2 Evo buttons in here. So those are the only 2 Sanwas there. The other thing was I made this artwork here. I took the bunch of different assets and stuff from BlazBlue's folders, and I kind of threw them together onto a template. And this is what came out. I think it looks pretty clean. The stuff that I did on it, you'll see it in the B-roll. And yeah, this is a great stick. It's got a good cable. Well, it's got a good cable compartment. It's very weighty. It's a very big stick. It's got, again, the non-slip padding. So, you know, I'm moving the desk, or I'm moving the table, and I'm not even really moving this thing. So yeah, it's a great stick. It's got LEDs on the sides and all that. You can check my review for it. It was one of the older ass reviews. It's going to be up there again. It's a good stick. If you want a good like consumer level arcade stick, this is one of my main picks. So let's go on to the next one. So this is the next one that I decided to pick out of the random assortment. We're getting through these, you know, I'm getting through these kind of quick. But this is the Mixbox. Now the history that I have with this was that the guys over at Mixbox, I originally had messaged them and asked them if I could get a review sample when they first came out with this, and they weren't able to accommodate that. But then a couple of weeks later, they messaged me and asked me if I would do some video content with Mixbox, and they sent me over one, and I did a review, and I started doing Tekken content and other fighting game content with the Mixbox. You'll see that in some videos, older videos. This thing was cool. I really enjoyed it. I played it for a while. I did play this thing for a while, and I was actually rather adjusted to it. I remember playing Tekken and all that with it pretty consistently. It was a good stick. I did a few videos with it. I modded it to Hayabusas, the white and black. These are actually the white plungers that came off of the Tekken 7 Xbox One stick that I have. And then I just put the black tops in there that came off of some other Hayabusa set that I had. I have tons of Hayabusa buttons. I love those things. And then these buttons here, the WASD layout, I ended up switching them out for Razer micro switches. Yeah, these are still the Razer stuff. And then I got new keycaps for it, and I did a whole video before one Evo doing that. I believe it was the 2018 Evo, yeah. I did that video, and I was going to do the artwork on this, but I really stopped playing this thing, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. So this one gets some use every so often, but not as much. I've gone back to playing Korean levers, just because that's where I feel most comfortable. You know, one problem, you know, is that there was no... They're good. They're good. The only problem is I think that Mixboxes are just a little too expensive, to be honest. But, you know, they're pretty good. They're decent. I like them still, but the price really can deter you from actually picking one of these up. All right, and now we're getting to more of the old school stuff. This right here is a really damn good condition Dreamcast HKT 7300 stick. This actually comes from Japan. I bought it. It got shipped from Japan. It was still in its box, I believe. No, it was in a different box, but it was well boxed. It's really got no scratches or anything on it. It's still a really nice looking stick. I have a Dreamcast, and I wanted to play arcade games on a Dreamcast, and this was before the retro board and the Dreamcast converter came out, so I've had this stick for a while. And, you know, I wanted to do a whole video series of me ripping this apart and putting in new stuff and keeping it true to the original colors and all that, which I'll probably get to eventually, but just to cover that I have this stick, and it's a fantastic stick. I love this thing. I just love how it's got this metal top plate and all that. I have another one that I'm doing a project on, so yeah, this one is in really, really good condition. Oh, that's pretty much it for this. This is just the HKT 7300 that's in good condition, and I really wanted one, so I got one. Okay, so next thing that's up is the Honcam. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about this god-awful abomination. If you want to see the video that this came from, I put out one earlier this year. It was the April Fool's joke saying Best Buy scammed me. That'll be right there. You can check how awful of a stick this thing is, and it doesn't warrant anything more than that, other than to be a chassis that will probably be used in a future video. It looks like it has the Noir layout, but whatever. That's all I have to say about this trash. Oh, and yeah, I still have the USB rocker. It's in that thing there. I refuse to get it out. That thing is awful. If you want to see that video, that was a year ago. It was the cheapest arcade stick on Newegg. Yeah, it's gonna be right there. That's also a stick that I have, and I just refuse to acknowledge that that thing is even an arcade stick. Like I said, it's in a drawer somewhere. This is probably one of the best arcade sticks I own. And there's a reason why you see it in every single arcade stick review video ever since I started doing this on-person camera thing. And that is because this is the Killer Instinct Xbox One stick. And this was the first stick that I actually did a review on back in 2016 when this thing first, 2016, 2017, or somewhere around there when this thing first came out. Or no, it wasn't 2016. It was way before that. Yeah, it was back when the Xbox wanted that. Yeah, back then, and I couldn't help myself. I saw that scene of Kakyoin laughing, and that's what I had to make it. I had to do it. I mean, it's great. I put the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure arcade stick. What does that say? Tournament edition. Has the TE2 thing over there. It's the Sanwa buttons are they're all the same Sanwa buttons except for these two. I won these in it was an old ass video, or it was an old ass competition they did where it's like, give us your fight stick picture review thing or whatever. And I had a picture of me when I was waiting for the Street Fighter V beta to open up, and it wasn't, where I had this thing bouncing on my head. I might find that picture and I might put it in. I don't know. It'd probably be some digging, but yeah, I did that, and I got these mailed to me. I had completely forgotten about it, and then it got mailed, and I'm like, oh, cool, Mad Catz Sanwa buttons. This is one of the, I think it's like the EX gear or whatever. It's got like it's the pattern ball top. It's purple. I thought it looked pretty JoJo's Bizarre Adventure-y. The buttons all have inlay in. I put artwork in all of these buttons. So you have Jotaro and Dio on the bottom. And then you have the best Joestar, which is Joseph, young Joseph, and Cars. And then, yeah, they have these 4 characters. And then these last 2 buttons are actually from the Bloody Stream opening. This is the one scene where it's showing Joseph doing a cracker volley. And I took the 2 J's, the 2 different cracker volleys that had the 2 different ones. And you can't really see it, can you? There you go. You'll see it in the B-roll, but yeah. Just so you know that I love JoJo's to death, especially part 2 and 3. I had to make this stick like the way it is. Everybody loves it when they see it, and I know that everybody wants to see it in person, or everybody wants to see it up close and personal, so there's going to be B-roll of it. This is the JoJo stick, and it's possibly one of the best sticks that I own, even though it's for a console I don't play anymore. This thing's actually a really good stick. The TE2 sticks are actually really good. This is the one that has the LED board in it, so it actually lights up, and it has the nice felt bottom. You can see right there, it says KI. Yep, great stick. It's a shame that Mad Catz is doing whatever the hell it's doing right now. So, it's a shame. These are actually really good. These are actually really good sticks, so we'll see. Oh god, it doesn't fit. This thing does not work. Got it.
Gives me conniptions.
This is the Tekken 3 Hori stick. This is another Hori that I have. This is an old real arcade stick. It's the Hori Real Arcade. I have another one I haven't done a video for, but it's the Tag 2 or the Tag 1 version of this thing. These are really cool. I'm glad that I managed to find one. It's not in the best of condition, but it was relatively cheap and from Japan, which is very hard to find things relatively cheap and from Japan, especially like this. So I wanted to get one, and you know, I want to do a video of this eventually. I haven't gotten around to it. There's a lot of things I haven't gotten around to doing, but eventually I will get to doing this video. But it's a very cool stick, just to have something from that era, you know, the late 90s. And yeah, reminds me of when I used to play Tekken 3 all the time in arcades, or in the pizza place where I grew up. There's like a pizza bowling place. Like, I used to play Tekken 3 all the time on there. Yeah, it's Tekken 3 is the first Tekken I played, and it's one that I have very fond memories of. And this stick is really old. Been played heavily, I can tell, but yeah, it works, and it's just a cool stick to own. If you can get one of these, or if you can get the Tag 1 version, do it. These are actually really cool. God, this thing is big. I don't think I really need to talk too much about this one. I did a review on it. This is the cross-up, and this is the alpha version, and I have my my opinions on it. If you want to see that, you can check the video out here. It's a great stick. The only problem is that I feel that the 30mm buttons here are a little too big and they strain my hands, especially if you're somebody with small hands like me. Yeah, that's really all I'm going to say about it. You know, just get through it pretty quick because there is a whole video that was released a couple of days before this one that details a lot of this stick and if it's really worth it or if it's for you or not. So this is just to show everybody, you know, the collection, and this is one of the sticks that I have. So this is the cross-up, and that's all I have to say about that. Again, video for the review. All right, so now we have another Hori stick, and this one is the Tekken 5 limited edition one, the anniversary edition one. And this is actually, this is a really cool stick, just because, you know, I'm on this thing where I want to try and collect a lot of Tekken memorabilia and like collectible stuff. And I ended up getting this whole Tekken 5 collector's edition thing for like $100, 90 bucks, something like that. And I couldn't pass up on it because it comes with the, it was the box that came with basically everything. You can see it in the background sometimes. Yeah, it's right behind the chair, but sometimes you guys have seen it. But yeah, it came with this stick. I haven't played it, but you know, I just kind of keep it around, just keep it in, you know, it's semi-okay condition. It's got scratches here and there, or that might just be paint. No, those are probably scratches, but yeah, this is actually a really cool stick. I saw somebody at a local who had one of these, and I wanted to try and open it up just to see the insides. And it's kind of like a chore to get into the internals, but yeah, I got one for myself, and you know, eventually I'll get around to doing a video on this thing too. But I just wanted to show this off. Again, I'm showing off the collection, and I might as well show off another limited edition stick that I have, right? Great, it's great. Limited edition sticks are fun, boys. It's an addiction. Once you start collecting them, you don't want to stop. Okay, and so here is another fantastic Mad Catz stick that we have. This is the T.E.S. Plus, and you know, it's basically a tournament edition. It looks like the same mold as a tournament edition. It's just got the touchpad on it, and it's got some extra bells and whistles here and there. But it's a repurposed TE mold for sure, and it's a great stick. The TEs are really good sticks. It's, again, a shame that Mad Catz is possibly going down the road of reusing Chinese garbage. Yeah, there's really not much more to say about it other than it's got the really good felt, or the non-slip. Yeah, this is felt, right? Whatever, it's got the good non-slip padding on it. It's, you know, well built. It's got all Sanwa parts if you're into that kind of thing. It's got a touchpad. And while I don't really care for the Street Fighter V stuff, I hate Street Fighter V. I wish it would just end already. Please end my suffering. That game sucks my nut. Still good. And you can also always replace this. This will come off and you can put an actual plexi and good artwork on it instead of this stupid Shadowloo logo that's on here. Yes, I'm throwing shade at that because Street Fighter V sucks. It sucks. And for realsies this time, this is actually the last limited edition stick that I own. And this is well, I don't really think it's that limited edition. It's the BlazBlue, what was it? The Chrono Phantasma Extend. Yeah, this is the Chrono Phantasma Extend Hori arcade stick. And this isn't a very good stick. It was the second PS4 stick that I ever owned, and I only really got it because of the whole BlazBlue thing, and I wanted another PS4 stick, and this thing was like 90 bucks. So I decided to get it, played on it for a while. It's decent enough, but, you know, I never really got too much into playing on it. It's actually not even functional right now. The lever's disconnected, and I haven't really bothered to go in and plug it back in, mainly because it's signed. And I took this at Evo 2016. Was it 2016? Yeah, it was. This was Evo 2016. So actually, yeah, no, this was the first PS4 stick that I owned, but I didn't really play on it because it was garbage. The Rap 4 over there was the second PS4 stick I ever got. I'm misremembering things. But anyway, I took this to Evo, and I didn't play on it because this was going to be like a last resort kind of thing. And it ended up being that I didn't have to play on this. I'm grateful I didn't have to play on this, but I did take it when I was getting stuff signed. If you've seen that picture of Dizzy in the background of my videos, that was drawn by Daisuke and signed at Evo 2016. And it was actually really cool. Got to meet him. But before Daisuke was Mori, and he was doing signings, and I had him sign my stick. So Mori wrote my name, he wrote his, you know, all that stuff in 2016. He did all that. And that's mainly the reason why I don't use this thing anymore. I have other better PS4 sticks now, but I still wouldn't play on this thing even if it was the even if it was the only other PS4 stick I had, just because it's signed by Mori, and I don't want to rub any of that Sharpie off. So, you know, it's already gotten scratched up kind of a bit. So, yeah, it's signed by Mori. Chrono Phantasma Extend was a terrible idea. Okay, and then this one was a dusty. Wow, that is, you don't see it on here, but it is visible over here. Anyway, this is the Namco PlayStation 1 stick, and this is one that I recently acquired, or not recently, but I acquired this year. And I got it. It's in really good condition. There's only a couple of like actual dings on it. And everybody was talking so much about this stick, and I wanted to get one to try it out. And I can say it's pretty nice. I mean, it's pretty solid. I haven't gotten around to actually really messing around with it. I do plan on doing a mod project with this thing, just to put in some better buttons, because a lot of these older sticks, especially ones that use that will use like Seimitsu parts, I believe this uses Seimitsu stuff, they tend to use the older Seimitsu buttons that are really flat, and they like to. This one doesn't really have that problem, but they do tend to get stuck, and yeah, the sticks tend to wear out pretty easy. But you know, it's great. I've heard nothing but good things about this stick, and hopefully when I do get around to doing a video about it, it lives up to that. So that's just this again is just to kind of show you it, and yeah, this just to kind of show you the stick, and yeah, it's really cool. It's got some wear on the back, but you know, it doesn't really have anything damage wise like on the main shell other than one of the corners. But yeah, for what I paid for it, it's not that bad. I think this is probably one of the few sticks that everybody is really looking forward to me talking about. This is a mod project I did back in the day when I wasn't really doing mod projects all that much. I was just more or less doing reviews. And this one is one that I never really made a video on, but I have shown off. So this is the Android 21 stick, and it's basically mostly all Korean. It's a Makestick IST case. So the Makestick case, I originally had this. It was a Kokonoi stick. It had the it had the Kaze lever. Yeah, I had a Kaze lever in it, and it was a blue one. It had a Kokonoi picture on it, and I had clear buttons. And then when I was playing DB Fighters, I really liked Android 21. And so I made an Android 21 stick. I cropped her out in one of her supers. It isn't the cleanest job, but it's pretty damn clean, honestly. You can't really tell, but I cropped her out in here. Let me, so you guys can kind of see it better. But I cropped her out during one of her supers. I did the whole color scheme background. I kind of matched the colors. I did, you know, the whole ink tool just to see what the colors were. And then I matched it with the Sanwa buttons. I ended up buying black, pink, white, and gold. And then I ended up doing swapping around the colors so that it would kind of match the color scheme of Android 21. So the pink and black for the skin and the top, and then the white and gold for the boots and the belt and the pants. And then this one here, the orange again, is also kind of for the, it was supposed to be more goldish, but it ended up being orange, but you know, it works. But yeah, I ended up taking her portrait in there and I ended up putting that right at the end. These last two buttons are still the same. They're the clear buttons. And then I added a touchpad. I added the options button because this has a UFB in it. This actually has a lot of stuff put into it. Because if you look at the back here, there is a retro board and a Brook UFB in it. And it's not really that even. This is when I was just learning how to drill into stuff and like do mods and stuff on my own. But it's got a whole bunch of stuff in there. It's got, you know, it has the share, home, L3, R3 touch, options button. So it has everything that I need. It also works on pretty much every console. It has a UFB in it and a retro board. So it'll work on any retro board I can get an RJ45 cable for. And yeah, this is awesome stick. I ended up modding it again. I have this thing from Jason's Customs, which is a pink cable, which I don't have here. I do have it. This is the braided cable that I got. It's a USB cable. It locks into that thing there. But yeah, this is for the UFB, just to make it more pink to kind of like match with the Android 21 aesthetic. Yeah. The other thing is on the back is I got a bunch of stickers and stuff. So these two are from where I used to work. You can't really see a lot of it, but this one's kind of funny. It's a Naruto one that I got a couple of stickers that came from Arcade Shock when they did the Darkstalkers. I don't think they still do that anymore. Yeah, I don't think they do those pictures anymore, but or those stickers anymore. But yeah, that's it for this. It's a really cool stick. I use this a lot actually. I played on this quite a lot, just because this is did I already say? No, this is a 309 lever. This is a full color 309 lever, so it's a full shaft, a Korean lever, and then these are Sanwa buttons. So it's really modded out, and it's got a lot of crazy crap going on inside of it. And yeah, I really should have made a video about the retro board when I installed it, but there's a lot of stuff going on at that time. But yeah, I put that in after last Evo, after 2017 Evo. This is 2018 Evo. So yeah, it's a great stick. This case is actually really nice, so if you want to get yourself a Korean case, go get a Make Stick. Oh Lord, he coming. This is the big boy. Okay. Doesn't even fit in the shot. Oh my God. I have to move it around so it'll fit in the shot. Anyway, I still got this cable here. This is the Qanba Dragon. Now, this is actually the only stick I wasn't able to get from Adark and Qanba. They were sold out. They didn't have any stock when I went to request it, and I'm not when I went to request a review copy. So I ended up getting this by complete accident around the time that the Dragon actually came out. And I had entered a giveaway. Markman was giving away like 3 of these things, and I had completely forgotten that I had registered for it until I got an email from Markman saying that I was one of the winners. And I was like, I rarely win anything. So I got the Dragon. I did my video on it. You can check the video again up there. And yeah, this is one of the best PS4 sticks ever made. The only thing is it's just so damn heavy and so damn big. That's a good thing and a bad thing. And this plexi gets all dirtied up. It's all, you can't really see it, but it's dusty and dirty. And I use this for these buttons. These are the old crown buttons, the old SDBs. I think they're the 201s. I think that's what they're called. I don't remember. But yeah, this thing is fantastic. It's a fantastic stick. It's got, you can open it up. It's got LEDs. I don't really like the fact that the cable compartment is missing and you have to tie the cable up here, but you know, it's a nice braided cable. It's quality. I haven't had this thing break, and this thing gets played quite often when other people are here. I do have another video planned for this in the future. So once all the parts get in for that, it's going to look completely different and it's going to look fantastic. You're going to love it. So stick around for that, because this is actually going to be a video worth watching when I go and actually fully mod this thing and make this crazy ass dragon stick. So this is a great stick. I love the red. It contrasts the Obsidian's blue color, because the Obsidian and the Crystal use blue LEDs and this one has red. And the only thing that's a shame is I wish I had the old prototype version, the one that's all red and has an actual dragon on it. That one was sick. It's a shame that, you know, you have to go with these unified colors and all that just to kind of appease the Sony corporate overlords, I guess. But yeah, Sanwa, the original has Sanwa parts. It's got the metal ball top again, the actual cold metal ball top. Like, this thing feels cold to the touch. Sanwa buttons. These aren't the original buttons, but yeah, it's a good stick. It also opens up. Oh, it is heavy, but there's two little buttons here. You can see it in the review, and it's not all plugged in right now just because I need to actually, I'm getting it ready for when I actually, you know, do mod this thing. I'll make sure that isn't as loud for you guys, because that is loud when it closes. But yeah, this thing will get fully modded and it's going to be a fun video. This is the Razer Panthera Evo. I don't know why I waited so long to get to this, but you know, I did. And this is an average stick. You know, I really liked it when it first came out, but now after trying other sticks, you know, this is just, it's a good stick, but it's not really the best thing ever. Not by a long shot. There's people who use it and it's good, but the one thing is I really like modability in my sticks, and this thing is one of the most restrictive things you could ever find for an arcade stick. So if you want to see my original impressions, there's going to be a review for it that came out around this time last year. It was actually probably a couple of weeks past, so I think I did in early December last year. And then this one, I did talk about it a little bit more when I re-reviewed the refresh of the golden lever. So that one is also going to be linked here again. But yeah, that was there were some changes over time, and it's still okay, but for its price point, it's hard to justify a purchase of one of these unless you're really into modding a whole bunch of crap. So that's really all I'm going to say about that. Like, I didn't even bother putting the dust washer back on this thing just because I didn't care enough. I just wanted to get the video done for that, and I didn't want to have to spend any more time with this thing. So, I mean, the really nice thing is it's got the whole, you know, quick access to the lever to take off the ball top, and then it's got this anti-slip stuff, but 3 okay things doesn't make this a good stick. It's just an okay stick. Alright, and now we're getting down to the last two of the arcade sticks that I have. And this one is one that you guys will be familiar with if you've stuck around for a while. In early 2019, earlier this year, I got to review the Etokki Omni. I reached out to them, they sent this to me, and I did my initial review. The Etokki Omni is a really cool stick because it's just synonymous with Tekken, or at least it was back in the day. There's a lot of people who used to play on these things, and it's a good stick. It's got a durable chassis. It's made out of metal. It comes with all Sanwa parts, a Taeyong Fanta lever, and a JLF if you get the all Sanwa version. And I like the stick. The only thing was that at the time, for its price, it's $199, something like that. It does have some things that are missing, some features that you get in a lot of other modern sticks. Even though this is like the 7th revision of this thing, it doesn't have a cable compartment, doesn't have non-slip padding on the bottom, and you know, it's still a good stick. It's just a very basic stick for its price. And then back in November, I wanted to review the Fujin V3 lever, and so I used that kind of as an excuse to mod the whole thing. And I put in some crown buttons, the SDB202s, the ones that you see there, as well as the Fujin V3. and I got to review that, and this is a good stick. You know, it's very durable. If you want to be able to, if you want something that's very minimalistic, then, you know, you can go for something like this. It's heavy. It will slide off your lap, so you would have to get some non-slip tape or material that would go on the bottom of this. And Etokki does sell that, but yeah, this is a great stick. It's not like the greatest PS4 stick, but then again, it's not a licensed PS4 stick, so, you know, it's not going to have like a touchpad. It's going to have it in the form of a button, but it's not going to have like an actual touchpad. But yeah, it's a good stick. I like it. But yeah, I think that's, if you want to know my thoughts on it, then you can go to the videos that I've done on this thing. So those will be linked right up there. And I've saved the best for last, and you're probably asking why, because this is just another 8-arc Qanba Fusion. And the real answer is that, well, first off, this is a limited edition stick. I lied again. I have another limited edition because this was one of 200, I believe, that were made. But the main reason why I chose this one last is because you see it in the background of all my videos. This is the very first arcade stick I ever owned. I bought this back when they first came out. I believe it was the holidays in 2011. And ever since then, I've just been playing. I played on this thing throughout half of my YouTube career, or the YouTube channel's growth. All the Tag 2 videos that you see, all the Tekken videos that I've done, or most of them up until, you know, Tekken 7. A lot of the combo videos, the Injustice stuff, the old original Injustice, just tons of videos that required me to do execution or just play a fighting game, until I got the other PS4 sticks, until I started getting PS4 sticks and all these other ones over here. This was the daily driver. This was the thing that I put hundreds of hours into. And I mean, this thing has gone through hell and back. You can, if you want proof of how used this thing is, like that is just wearing apart, you know, stuff is falling off, the felt bottom. This is what it looks like when it's worn. This thing sat on my lap for so many hours while I was doing combo tutorials, while I was doing the breakdowns for Tag 2, while I was playing BlazBlue, Tekken 6, when I was playing a whole bunch, Injustice. This thing contributed, I would say, probably to at least half of the videos that are on this channel that are gameplay related, at least. All the Tag 2 stuff. And yeah, this was this got to see some use. It's got some damage. You know, it's got a lot of wear and tear. The original, when it first came out, it had all Seimitsu parts. It had an LS32. It had Seimitsu buttons. And that's kind of the reason why I like LS32s. It was the first stick that I learned on. The buttons were so resilient that I slammed on them super hard, and I developed this habit of smacking my buttons really loudly. And I went through a whole bunch of different things with this. I had the original foam silencers for these buttons here to mute the sound, but that didn't feel good. I used to have older buttons on this thing. They were all see-through blue, Sanwas, and those tabs all broke out. And I just tossed those buttons and got these white ones. And this was the one where I put the very first Korean lever I ever tried, the 303FK, which is this one right here. This is still the original, very, very worn. God, I can feel how loose that is. But it was the very first Korean lever I ever tried. And it's the one that got me converted into playing on Korean levers. And yeah, this holds a lot of value to me because this was the very first stick I ever bought. And it's the one that I've put so many hours into, and I played on it the most. And when it came time to switch over to the next gen, I honestly did think about trying to find a board or something. I was using converters for a little bit until I got an actual PS4 stick. And I debated for a while to wonder if I could, if I should put a Brook in there, a UFB, and just try and continue playing on with it. But after a while, I decided against it, just because this thing had seen so much use and it's been in so many videos. I decided that, you know, maybe it was time to retire it, and just kind of stick it in the background as kind of what should be the main centerpiece for the videos. And that's why it's in the background of every video ever since I started doing the whole on camera thing, is that I wanted this stick to be kind of in view. And yeah, because I've been with this channel, and I started the channel in 2012, so it's been almost 8 years since I started my YouTube channel, and this thing has been there for like the first 15,000. We went from 1,000 subscribers in 2013 all the way up to almost 26. We're at 25,600, I think. So we're almost at 26,000 subs. And this thing has been here the entire time. So it's got it. The reason why I saved it for last is that this is the arcade stick that I love the most. And it's the very first one that I ever owned. So it's very, I guess you'd say it's very sentimental. So that's why I decided to put this one last, is that just so you guys know, this was the stick that went through all of it, that was there through pretty much most of it. And yeah, I debated whether or not to put it back to stock, but I just kind of want to leave it as it is, because this is, for a majority of the time that I played on it, this is what it was like. So yeah, I think yeah, that's pretty much all the arcade sticks. This one is obviously the most important one to me. The Victrix is the second. And as you can see, I have 34 arcade sticks that I went through in this whole video, and that's not even counting all the stuff that's in there, in the other room, that's in boxes for videos that I need to get to. I didn't want to include those because I didn't want to spoil the fun of those videos. So those will get done in time, and you'll get to see what stupid crap that I have stored away for videos. But yeah, this one is going back up, and it's going to continue to be the centerpiece of all the videos that I do like this. So with that being said, yeah, you start getting one stick, and then it turns into two, and then it becomes 34, like me. So yeah, I think with that being said, that this is the end of the video. Like it if you did. Comment down below what you want to see in future videos. You can follow me on Twitter. It's HurtboxTV, same as the channel name. Twitch, same as the channel name. You can follow us there. You can watch us while we're streaming, or you can sub to us over there, and you know that everything helps. Whatever you can do. Just subscribing to the channel, clicking the bell notification so that you get notified when I actually put out more videos, would help greatly, as well as viewing. You know, just continuing to watch and support us just that way is good enough. We also have the Teespring store, you know, teespring.com/store/electric-apparel. Yeah, it's stuff that I talked about in the beginning of the video. Merchandise, people have been buying it surprisingly, and that amazes me, and I'm very grateful for everybody who does. And then there's also the Patreon, which I honestly am up to taking suggestions on what people would want for rewards for that, just because I want to make that a more viable, you know, platform for people to give support as well. I don't really focus too much on it, and I don't really promote it that much, just because it's not something that I really go on every day and I try and, you know, shove onto everybody, but it's there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, like the video, do all that stuff, and you know, I hope you guys had I hope you guys all had a good Christmas. Hope you guys had safe holidays, and this video will be out before New Year's, so it'll be out on the 31st. And yeah, happy holidays, be safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Dan, this is HurtboxTV. Take care. Peace.